Oh, wow. Mm, 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 mm. Well, we're singing about freedom, and we're thinking about freedom. And we're being about freedom on Daily Antidote of Song. Oh, singing about freedom. Well, thinking about freedom. And we're being about freedom on Daily Antidote of Song. Great morning and grand rising to us all. I'm Arnaé. I'm your host for this Tuesday edition of Daily Antidote of Song, which is lovingly brought to you by the good folks over at Carpe Diem Arts. Give them a hand. We need them. We love them. We can show our appreciation. So we are celebrating day 2 of Freedom Week here at Daily Antidote of Song. Today is actually World Freedom Day, and we have a very, very special guest in the room who we'll get to after we say greetings to our Facebook Live family. All right, so hi Bobby, hi Cindy, hi Alice, hi Tiger. Wave to all your people. Wave to each other. And then I get to greet the Zoom roomers. The room Zoomers? Are y'all Zoom roomers, room Zoomers? The rumors of Zoom. Oh, I like that. Okay, so we're going to start out with our hellos, of course, to Jojo Rossi. Hey, hey. Katie, who's back in CDA. And I know Busy Graham is somewhere on here today. If there are new people who are in the room, please stay at the end. When everyone's gone, you can receive your very special welcome from JoJo. Okay, let me get started with the Zoomers in the room. I'm so glad to see Alcie. So glad to see Bob and Mabel. So glad to see Annette Perone. So glad to see Becky Kane. I'm so glad to see Deborah in Kentucky. So glad to see Archie and Hindi. So glad to see my friend Susan G. So glad to see Kathy M. So glad to see Bob and Christiana. So glad to see Ruth in Birmingham. So glad to see Sherry. And so glad to see Adele. So glad to see Sarah Page. So glad to see Amanda and Miles. Amanda and Miles. Amanda and Miles. Amanda and... Oh, and there's people there with them. Bears. All right, we'll get to them. And we're so glad to see Kathleen in Albuquerque. So glad to see my friend Storm. So glad to see my girl Bonnie. So glad to see Jean. So glad to see Cliff. So glad to see Caroline in D.C. So glad to see the great James Harkless. Great James Harkless. The great James Harkless. So glad to see Steve and Michelle. So glad to see Luda in Victoria. So glad to see Busy Graham. So glad to see Johnny, and so glad to see Ralph in Victoria. No, going to the next page. And I'm so glad to see Dane. Hey, so glad to see Jim in New York City. So glad to see Kate in Charlottesville. So glad to see Jane in Texas. So glad to see Nancy with the moo cow. And so glad to see Jamie in Victoria. So glad to see Aloysius. So glad to see the Ann in Nashville. Not Ann. The Ann in Nashville. So glad to see LMG. So glad to see Phil in tautness. So glad to see everybody else in the Zoom room, in the Zoom room, in the Zoom room. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Everyone, let's take a nice healing breath. It's a beautiful day. And as I mentioned earlier, we are celebrating day 2 of Freedom Week. Today is World Freedom Day, and our song leader for the morning is an incredible artist, activist, creative consultant who works extensively in television and film here in Los Angeles. He's a co-founder of a very important organization that has helped to coordinate the evacuation of some of Afghanistan's most visible female leaders. Can't wait to hear all about that. He's also new to our Zoom room, so act right, be good, on your best behavior. We're not having it. Let's give a warm daily antidote welcome to Ajmal Sabat. He's also given us the okay to call him AJ. So welcome, AJ Subat, everyone. Oh, come on. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. Come on. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Good morning, AJ. How are you?
Good morning. Wow. This is the best morning. Getting hundreds of waves. That's like just this is so it's 9 a.m. in Los Angeles, so
That's right.
this is really awesome.
It
Really
really
happy to be here. Hi everyone.
happy you're here. So happy you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So tell us about the selection you chose to share and why.
Okay, given the organization, Carpe Diem, and especially the significance of today, I had to look into my Rolodex of songs and try to find the happiest. This one starts off a little sad, but it ends on a happier note. This one is called Adrian, and Adrian I had initially written for someone whom I cared about, but I couldn't really be in their lives, so I had to sing a song wishing them well. And they were in a tough spot in life because I knew that my presence in their life couldn't really help them. I had to take several steps back. Life is complicated. We all have those types of relationships with it, whether it's in romance or family. And so I had to just send my love and support from afar via song. And halfway through the writing process, I realized that this was kind of a song that I needed to hear. I needed to know that um, there's someone out there, whether it's God or the universe or family or someone that is my will always be my friend. And so that kind of is how the song ends on the phrase, I hope that you find what you've been looking for.
Okay, I know so many people can relate to that. So will you just play the chorus? I think the lyrics are in the chat. To the
So I
magic.
don't have really a chorus. It's
Okay,
it's like a
like
refrain,
a
and then
sing.
it's the outro, which is the I hope that you find what you're looking for.
Okay, so teach us
Um,
that part. Teach us that
okay,
part.
so it's like, and it's 9 a.m. here, so give me 1 second. And I've been looking for, or we can go in the lower octave. And I hope that you find what you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find what you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find what you've been looking for.
All right. I think we're ready to sing. I'm ready to.
Cool.
So take it away.
Can you hear me all right?
We hear you fine.
Great. Hey, Adrian, you're lost in the world, and I heard from a friend you're not doing so well. Hey, Adrian, you're caught in the wind, and I heard from a friend you're not doing so well. Only time can tell how your broken, bleeding heart will love again. Only time can tell how your broken, bleeding heart will give again. Adrian, there's no need to quit so soon. 'Cause Adrian, you've got a friend to the end. And I hope that you find you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find what you're looking for. Da 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 na, da 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 na da na 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 na. Da 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 na 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 na. A little Afghan twist at the end.
I thought I heard that I thought I recognized that in the chords. Wow. Everybody, take a breath on that. Incredible. That song was all about freedom. There's so much freedom that comes with release, with starting over, with committing to yourself. Thank you for that, AJ. Good
Thank
choice.
you, Arnaé. Thank you.
So, since you mentioned Afghanistan, that is where you are from, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And how long have you been here in the US?
I was born in Los Angeles. My parents came here in 1979 when the Russian coup happened, and so I'm an American, but I have strong emotional, spiritual ties to Afghanistan. Um,
Absolutely.
We
And
grew up in like a little microcosm of Afghanistan here in Los Angeles. So, and music was my introduction really to the country. It was through musical nights. So that's kind of the only Afghanistan I knew until I went there. Um,
wow,
really,
wow.
yeah,
So the freedom that you were experiencing here in America, being insulated in that Afghani community,
yeah.
that's where you got your musical start.
Yeah, and that's kind of the only, you know, seeing Afghanistan in the news growing up, you just never imagined to go there because it was a civil war. And the only kind of Afghanistan that I really knew were these musical nights where you'd have these amazing musicians who also fled the country but are now performing in front of 50 to 100, couple hundred people, and you're just kind of there together, and that's country for you, you know?
Wow. What kind of music was being performed? Traditional?
Well, Afghan music has two categories. There's folk, which are thousands of years old folk songs that are thousands of years old, from Alexander the Great's time coming, the Genghis Khan. Like there's so much history in it, but there's not much structure. And then the other part of it is falls under the Northern Indian classical structure. So it's theory, it's classical music, it's light classical, similar to jazz in a way where there's a lot of improv and it's scale based.
Right. So that's where we're getting at those interesting chordal progressions.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. Well, I'm very interested in knowing about your work with the Restore Her Voice
yeah,
project. Please share that with us.
definitely. Yeah. I'll try to give the abbreviated version.
Take your
Um,
time. Because it's important work, so take your
yeah.
time.
So my fiance Jahan and I, she's also Afghan American. We are both really passionate about. Um, we've just in the last couple of years we've been talking and brainstorming of how we can create an organization to help empower Afghans there, especially the women, because that's really where the problem is. Um, and so when Kabul fell, we got to thinking. I had also started to follow several journalists on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I had made music for a biography of the only and first ever female orchestra conductor, right? And so I had started to become familiar with these amazing, incredible female figures in Afghanistan. And so my fiance Jahan and I started to brainstorm, and we started to reach out to different organizations such as No One Left Behind. Um, but we realized kind of things move slowly when you start at. We're both Afghan. We know people in Afghanistan. I have a cousin who's a major in the U.S. Army. So we basically set up our own. The term is digital Dunkirk, which is like you have a team of private citizens, active duty U.S. military, former U.S. military, and we established contact with Central Command at the airport. So a couple young soldiers, U.S. soldiers who were there, and then I started to really just reach out to these women on Instagram. Do you
Hmm.
want to leave the country? Can we help? Can I help? And then women trusted me, like a guy, a random stranger. That's the level of desperation. These women who have the first female conductor, these other women who were journalists who had their own TV shows without wearing headscarves and actively talking about a progressive agenda and a progressive movement, talking about equality, um, and so just really pushing the culture of the country forward. As the U.S. has been there since 2001, this generation is just extremely progressive, and the women are really the leaders. So I got a group of 25 women initially, and then we without getting into too much detail, I'm not even sure how much I can share, but we helped them set up teams. We found safe houses or worked with them to find safe houses, and then made a connection at the base, as I mentioned, or at the airport, and then coordinated, um, kind of like a covert operation to get them into the airport through the military entrance, not through the main entrance. And I'm sure all of you have seen kind of the footage at the airport. It's like madness. We were able to get 121 humans out of the country. And now we have a group of 12 women thank you, 12 women in Virginia, three in Sacramento, and the rest are kind of in these holding facilities. But we've raised funds. We've raised funds to provide housing for a group. We've raised over $250,000. But that's for 121 people with zero benefits, or it's a really the system is so overwhelmed that it's hard for them to get benefits. So that money that we've raised really doesn't go a long way, and we're just working and continuing to raise funds and that. So I'm actually an artist. I've never done this, but the beautiful this is a tragedy and this is a heartbreak that I've never imagined. I haven't felt this level of a heartbreak in my life. It's but at the same time, the other side of that coin is I haven't felt this type of love
Because
before.
you've broken your heart open.
Yeah, right. It's the other side of that coin, which is that level of heartbreak. You start feeling that much more, and you start experiencing that. You start tapping into that reservoir of unconditional love, and then you meet these amazing people like Joe and Busy who are here, and now I've met all of you, and that's been really the silver lining in all this is just you find that heart tribe, and so that's been a huge blessing. So I
Wow.
tried to give you the abbreviated.
That's incredible. I mean, everybody, just, we got to give you props
Oh,
just for the vision and then acting on it. Because it's one
yeah,
thing to think it, it's
yeah,
another thing to put it into motion. And when there's that level of danger that's involved, that level of danger and unsurety, um, you know, a lot of things could have happened,
yeah,
but thankfully, they've moved forward. Talk about your fundraising visions because you have a fundraising effort called Help Restore Her Voice,
yep,
correct? Okay,
yep.
so what are your visions for fundraising?
So our organization, whom we started with our dear friends Dean and Aisha Sherzai, they're both neurologists. Have Dean was the former deputy minister of health in Afghanistan. He built the healthcare in Afghanistan in the last 20 years. Just really incredible people. Dean or Aisha worked with Doctors Without Borders in Afghanistan, and so we're building this thing, and we see this in three different phases. Phase one is obviously evacuation. We didn't, we're just basically taking advantage of our privilege. I'm a musician, I'm a composer. I've got four computer monitors that usually are used for music editing, but were used to run an operation. I have the privilege to be able to help, and I'm Afghan. I know how the system works. So we did that, and we brought some humans here, and the door is closed, and there's so many more people back there, and it's my phone, on the daily gets hundreds of messages from people begging and pleading, and that's a whole separate conversation. But that's phase one is getting people here. Phase two is resettling, and I'm very new to the resettlement world, and a lot of these resettlement agencies are just over capacity. These women that we're working with in Virginia have a case manager, but the case manager hasn't responded to in weeks because she's just beyond
Over.
her capacity, overwhelmed.
Mhm.
And so we're spending a lot of our funding, distributing a lot of our funds to the phase one side because we've got to pick up the slack where the U.S. government or the benefits are kind of a little bit behind, understandably so, right? Um, so, from providing beds to providing equipment. So we're getting one of our producers, videographers, presenters, some camera equipment initially because that's phase three, which is thriving empowerment. Our group of women in Virginia have been lucky to sit in front of Angelina Jolie and talk to her about their stories. We've gotten them in front of a couple senators. So we're also pushing kind of the awareness cause, and these women are leaders and kind of speaking on behalf of the Afghan women in Afghanistan and all Afghans actually. So our funds are being kind of distributed across phase two and three, which is as small as buying beds. Um, and in fact, we furnished a group of sisters room, and I forced them to pick artwork. I was like, it's also important, there's a budget, but can't get like a crazy crazy piece, but like let's go look online, and because that's important, right? And it's not just get a bed and have someone donate a bed. Like we want you to come here and feel and empower you so that you start um, you can build yourself back up again. And I think that's really, really, yeah, exactly. Feed the soul as well as the body. Thanks, Caroline. Put it into words.
Fantastic.
So,
How can people get involved with donations as volunteers or through partnerships?
so donations are great of any kind. I think volunteers, if you have any experience in right now, we definitely need help on kind of like the logistics side. On um, we have a Google form that I could kind of share with you. It's if you want to volunteer, you can kind of let us know what your expertise is, how many hours you can put in. Oh, am I
Keep going.
okay?
Keep
Okay,
that's my computer.
yeah, yeah. So we're totally volunteers are great. We have helpers, like Joe and Busy and Marika Partridge and Tacoma Park have been incredible. And so if we can meet other people who are just willing to even give us a brain to help problem solve. Because it takes a community. I mean, I'm helping these women in Virginia, but it's, as you can imagine, it's so hard to do it from California. Some things you just have to be there and is really important. So any type of donation, whether it's uh, goods or funds or time, expertise.
Okay. And people can find you where? We have a website
Yeah,
or
restorehervoice.org, and then I can send. We have a Google form that I can send. I should have
fantastic.
had that up, but I didn't have my coffee yet, so
Bro, you're doing good. Trust me.
I was like, I want to sing Adrian, but that top note is like, I don't know if I can get that early in the morning.
I did it for you. Don't worry. I had it for you. I had it for you.
Great.
So as we're wrapping this up, I'm curious because you probably have an expansive definition, but freedom to you is dot dot dot.
Wow. I just sent the Google form. Freedom to me. Freedom is to me is the ability to pursue any creative endeavor without any limitations in resource or doubt, or just untethered. To pursue a creative endeavor untethered is freedom for me.
You even managed to make it rhyme. Endeavor untethered.
That's a song.
It's a song. I'm
Are
feeling
you
it.
also in LA? I'll be over to finish the song with you.
We doing it. We doing it. We've already decided. So real quickly, I'm always curious. How did you manage personally and professionally during the COVID quarantine? So you were here in LA?
I was in LA. At the time, my girlfriend moved in with her mother. I moved down to Orange County to be closer to family. We just thought that was like the right call because we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
I so I was down in Orange County. I kind of and I'm an introvert and I'm always in the studio and stuff by myself. So like I didn't I I was just I'll tell you this. I just felt really really grateful that I have the ability to kind of express what I'm feeling via song. And so there's a lot of people who didn't have an outlet, and so I have a lot of empathy and compassion for people. For me, it made me kind of embrace the Larry David inside, which I didn't have plans to cancel. I just could be by myself and make music. And then
Wow.
I was like near the beach there, which was really cool, and near my family. But yeah, I'm a hermit, so
It allowed you closer connection. That's good. So are there any other projects that you want to talk about? Anything
yeah,
that's
I'm working on an EP right now with my producing partner in Philadelphia, and then I've got a performance on Tacoma Park Radio on the 3rd of December. And yeah, so we'll be recording there, and then we have a session on the 3rd, which will be for, I think it's a benefit for Tacoma Park. And then on December 11th, I'm in New York at Baby's All Right in Williamsburg for a benefit, for an Afghan benefit.
all right.
But keep on the lookout for my EP. Um, it's called, tentatively titled "Hurry Up and Heal."
Hurry up and heal. Okay. Hurry up and heal. AJ, this is wonderful. Can we get some more of that, Adrian? And
Yeah.
I got you on. I got that top note for you.
Okay.
Go for it.
Are you gonna be? You're gonna don't mute yourself though.
No, I have to because it's gonna
Okay.
sound crazy. So
Should I sing it again?
sing it again. The lyrics are in the chat, and everybody take a breath. This is important work that's being done, and this is the joy that comes through it. Freedom has, there's a lot of aspects to freedom, and this song certainly embodies it. Okay, you got it, AJ.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say one thing. I thought about it. To everyone who experienced hardship during COVID and lost someone, I'm deeply sorry. And I hope my answer to that question didn't seem lighthearted. I have a huge family and we all didn't leave our houses. So may have been easier for me, but I know people who have passed. And so my hearts and prayers are with all of you if you've lost anyone or experienced hardship. So just wanted to say that before I start. Hey, Adrian, you're lost in the world, and I heard from a friend you're not doing so well. Hey, Adrian, you're caught in the wind, and I heard from a friend you're not doing so well. Only time can tell how your broken, bleeding heart will love again. Only time can tell. Bleeding heart will live again. Adrian, there's no need to quit so soon. 'Cause Adrian, you've got a friend till the end. And I hope that you find what you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find what you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find what you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find what you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find what you've been looking for. Yes, I hope that you find what you've been looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Everybody, let's give it up for Ajmal Sabat. AJ,
Thank you.
so much for sharing your time, your talents, your heart, and your activism. We will definitely meet again. And I hope that we all find what we're looking for. You know, that reminded me of those moments back in the day when people had the lighters and they would go, hope that you
I
find
felt that. All
you've
the
been looking for. You know?
I
Okay,
should have. I should have came. Yeah, I should have came over. I sat on that piano behind you because that would. I needed that support. You know?
we'll get there. We'll get there. You know, I'm putting it out here in the universe. I keep saying it. There's going to be a several bus tour of Daily Antidote, and so we're going to have a piano on a bus.
Amazing.
We coming to pick you up from the west side, baby,
I love it.
and we're going to drive all around LA singing all these songs with our lighters up in the air. I can see it.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
All right. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate the kind words. I'm like seeing them come in, and it's just so touching. Thank you all.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
Joe.
Big hand. Big hand. Okay, everybody, let's just breathe this in. What a beautiful way to start our day. And before we get to our goodbyes, we've got an important message from our very own Jojo Rossi. Joe, please come forward.
Thank you, Arnaé. Thank you, AJ. That was so beautiful, and I can't wait to have you back in this room with another song at some point. Um, so I am gonna turn over to the sad news that we talked about yesterday. For those of you who are just hearing this for the first time, I'm very sorry. Larry Gordon of Village Harmony was in an accident. I know a lot of you know. He is actually going to be taken off life support today, and he is there's going to be a wake tonight in Marshfield, Vermont, which I know doesn't actually affect many of you. As it turns out, Nico and I are going to be able to attend, and I've heard that there may actually be portions of it filmed, so it's possible we'll be able to share some of it with you at some point. I also wanted to say that there is two projects. Originally, we were thinking we would have a project of writing cards to Larry, and I'm now suggesting that we turn our card writing to Wanda, his wife, and to the Village Harmony folk who have sung with us in this room, all of whom are suffering, obviously, a loss of this beautiful man, mentor, friend, musician, inspiration that they've had with them. And we know that the future of Village Harmony resides in their strength right now. So cards to Wanda, to the singers of Village Harmony, to the specific names of the folks we've had in here. We'll send out an email with more of that information. Katie's going to pop Wanda's address in the chat, which is also Larry's home, obviously. And part two is that there is also going to be a gathering at the same time today in the DC area for those folks who aren't able to make it to Vermont. So if you're in the DC area, please note that information in the chat also. And for those of us who are everywhere else besides Vermont and DC, we are going to have something in this room, a tribute to Larry Gordon, singers from Village Harmony, clips. And Anna actually has compiled on our Facebook Live page I'm forgetting the name of it, the place where you can highlight everything all at once, a playlist, thank you, a playlist of all of the times Larry sang with us in this room, all in one place. And if there's ever been a really great way to experience today through the lens of what Larry loved the most, you can go today and listen to some songs, as we know that he is in fact departing at the same time as we would be listening. So I want to thank everybody. Yesterday's moment of silence was beautiful, and we'll do another one just for a moment here, and I'm going to turn it back to Arnaé. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Mm, thank you for that. Sometimes freedom is freedom from the body as well. And so it's always beautiful when we can come together to mourn, but also to celebrate the connection to Larry and the freedom as he takes his next journey to his next. Mm, this has been a good morning. Good morning. Ajmal Sabat, give him some more love, y'all. Get ready. You know the song now. Be ready when we come to pick you up to sing your part. Thank you very kindly. Okay, I think I'm supposed to say goodbye to the Facebook family. So let's say goodbye. Bye, Jan. Bye, Bobby. Bye, Peter. Bye, Mike. All y'all. Goodbye.